The massive pinnacles of Zion's Park, drifting through Utah's history in the Red Rocks, or even the high alpine meadows found in northern, southern, and eastern Utah. Tourism. That's our subject today on the county seat. Hello everybody, I'm Chad Booth. Today we are bringing you a show from a special location at the Utah Valley Convention Center as tourism officials from all over the state meet. We will be discussing during the show a little bit later some of the impacts that tourism has on local communities so that you see what the direct impact is of people coming from Japan or from Germany or from New York to visit Utah. But first we want to give you a little background on where the dynamics of tourism are headed. You know, it used to be that you'd look at tourism and you'd go, okay, I want to get everybody to come to my location and not yours. And so basically you had tourism bureaus working against each other. But that's about to change, as Malia Bascom is going to explain in our topic story today.
Do you know what my favorite part of dinner is? Dessert. Banana cream pie, to be exact. As the pie is passed around, everyone is slicing off as much as they think they can get away with. So sometimes there's not enough for everyone. At that point, someone will have to go without. Well, in Utah, we have 29 counties, who all have great landscapes and attractions to show off to tourists.
It's definitely more about partnership and helping each other than worrying about each other, you know, taking a piece of the pie. Because I think we all kind of believe in the more visitors there are in the state, the more visitors there are that will be going throughout the state and who'll be experiencing what Utah has to offer.
We often don't consider how people from other countries wind up in the beautiful and often remote corners of our state. Part of it is simply the beauty of Utah.
It's not long stretches of the state before you reach something wonderful. There's something wonderful all along. And then you encounter all these great people along the journey and all these interesting cultural experiences. So it all just wraps up into one really great destination.
While the treasures of the state do a great job of selling themselves, there's a little more required in getting the good word out about Utah as a destination. The Utah Office of Tourism is a part of the Governor's Office of Economic Development. Its mandate is simple.
We're the main marketing arm for the state of Utah. It's important what the counties are doing to promote their areas, but it's also important to have an agency that promotes the entire state. And we're kind of the umbrella, if you will, and we promote the state at a 30,000-foot level, whereas our county partners can come in and tell people what they can do when they're within these counties. And the whole goal is to get people to stay that extra night, attend that extra festival, and contribute to Utah's economy. One of our most successful programs is our Cooperative Marketing Program, and we work with nonprofit tourism entities around the state, including the counties, the destination marketing organizations within those counties, to do a 50-50 match with them to try to attract more out-of-state visitors to the state.
The partnership with the state is really crucial because they do have the resources and they have some means in which to create a partnership to connect the dots, particularly when it comes to the international market. It's very, very expensive to market internationally.
But the efforts made by the tourism offices go beyond bringing visitors.
When people come here to visit, they see how wonderful it is, the quality of the life. They start to consider moving their business here. They start to consider even just relocating here for retirement. And those lead on to creating jobs, creating more retail, creating more real estate opportunities. It starts with tourism, but it leads to almost all aspects of community development.
It's the collaborative efforts of the state that have placed Utah on the map, both as a destination for tourism and for those looking for a more permanent stay. For the county seat, I'm Malia Bascom.
Thank you, Malia, for that report. We will discuss tourism, both from a standpoint of outside tourists, inside tourists, and some of the fringe benefits that come along with developing tourism here in the state of Utah when we come back on the county seat. We'll be back in just a minute.
If you haven't been to Starvation in a while, you're in for a great surprise. New campsites, new cabins, and beach improvements await your next visit. Just 3 hours away, but a world away from the Wasatch Front in Duchesne County. Starvation State Park is located 4 miles northwest of Duchesne, just off US Highway 40. Duchesne County. Close enough for business, far enough to get away.
The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, SITLA, manages 3.5 million acres of Utah lands with the express purpose of providing financial support to further the education of Utah's students, while promoting local industry, oil and gas, even residential development, all at the same time. Through the careful use of trust lands, the School Land Trust Program will distribute nearly $37 million to Utah's schools this year. The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, building the state's permanent school fund.
What brings you to St. George?
Business meeting.
Staying long?
Just here for the day. Quick in and out. Hey, I just landed. Can we meet in a half an hour?
Not too bad. Why so fast?
Stay any longer? We'll run out of things to do. On second thought. Buddy, something's come up. I'm gonna need another hour. Can we push the meeting till noon? I am definitely gonna need to reschedule. Holy.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy your 45-minute flight to Salt Lake. How'd that meeting go?
I should have booked a weekend.
Welcome back to the county seat. We are talking about tourism today on our episode. Would like to introduce our panel, Kevin Arrington, who is the commander of tourism for Sevier County.
Correct.
You like the new title I put on it?
That sounds nice.
Fred Hayes, who is the leader of the Army of the Utah Division of Parks and Recreation, their new director. Congratulations officially, Fred, by the way.
Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying your new position.
So far, so good. They haven't run me off yet. It's been nearly 3 weeks, and I'm still intact, so that's good.
And we have Charlie DeLorme, who heads up tourism and visitors for San Juan County. Charlie, thanks for being with us today.
Appreciate the opportunity, Chad.
Okay, so let's talk about, you know, people say, okay, we got tourism, you're promoting tourism, I live in the county, what good does it do me? What good does tourism actually do for the citizens?
You know, tourism provides a tax relief for every Utah household, a little bit over $1,000 a year. It's one of our top 3 economic developers in the state, and it's important to every county in Utah.
You know, that $1,000 a year is kind of an amazing figure.
It really is.
Beyond that, individual businessmen know the value of tourism. But Joe Average may not realize that that translates into money that goes back into their schools and back into their communities and back into all those things that they take for granted. I remember one year down in Kevin's country where a businessman decided that he wasn't going to sell gas to ATV riders at $1 a pop because they were tying up his pumps. And so he shut it down one year. Came back the next year because of community pressure and because of pressure on his own wallet, and opened up and put up a sign that said welcome ATVs because the community felt a pinch.
That's actually a pretty incredible example.
Well, and it's not just the direct, you know, obviously you're going to have some direct influence from dollars coming into your community. Talking about ATVs, you're going to have the gas stations, the hotels, the restaurants are all going to benefit directly, but that dollar is going to roll over a number of times in your community. I've got an appliance dealer in Sevier County that loves to see the ATVs come in because he knows that that dollar is going to roll over and eventually get to him, and so it's important.
You know, I've heard some comments that, gee, tourism jobs don't pay very much, the hospitality industry or lower wages. Gosh, every one of my 7 daughters was able to save money for college working in the hospitality industry, front desk at hotels or as housekeepers. And one of those went on to a hotel and restaurant management school, is now opening a lodging property in the state.
Sometimes we have a tendency to look at the the zenith of wage earning and forget that there is an entire spectrum as we go through life's experiences that need to be filled, because not everybody is, you know, breadwinner, 6 kids. I mean, you know, it's those 6 kids that become the issue.
Right.
So, when you promote tourism, it's a fairly broad spectrum, and what do the counties do to look to the state to help them with that sort of thing, as far as providing a variety of recreational experiences?
Well, the state does a number of things. You know, just off the top, they're always trying to push tourists into the entire state. It's not just the ski industry or just the national parks. They've just recently come out with a set of maps, one for the northern area, one for the central, and one for the southern, that are going to be tremendously helpful in terms of pushing tourists into each different area of the state. And then beyond that, they've, with the help of the legislature and some funding there, put together the annual co-op application opportunity for us, so that we can, as a small county, go to the state with a proposal in terms of how to bring folks in and get some grant monies.
What do parks bring to the table here?
Well, we see our role as being part of that mix. You know, I don't know that there are a lot of people who travel to San Juan County specifically to just go and see the Edge of the Cedars Museum, but it's part of a mix. It's one of the things that draws people there, and with parks scattered all over rural Utah, you know, 43 parks plus an untold number of other boating opportunities and OHV opportunities, we see that as contributing to that big picture that draws people from maybe the front or from some other outside state to come and participate. And so we try and market the parks as one component of a much bigger state.
You know, one of the things that I think you ask about, you know, what is the state doing under Lee Vonderesh's direction? She's networked all of us and pulled us together as a team. So we're cross-marketing each other. We like to see folks, you know, come into Salt Lake City, spend time there, then come on down to Sevier and San Juan counties, and we cross-market. So we're getting more nights of stays from visitors.
So in essence, what's happening is the tourism directors are becoming more of an integrated network team instead of competitors?
Exactly.
We don't compete against you know, other destinations in the state. We compete, frankly, against Orlando or Calgary or other areas. But here in Utah, we're working together as a team.
Well, and you know, the governor's talked about Utah being unique in that you can ski in the morning and golf in the afternoon, and that's exactly what Charlie's talking about. We love to see folks coming into the ski industry and come and spend some time at the ski resort, and then we want them to head south to the national parks and spend a few days.
You just put in a great plug for Iron in Washington County.
Well, you know what, we do all work together. The Sun Park, Southern Utah National Parks Board, we know if folks are going to come to Zion, they're going to want to go on to Bryce and Capitol Reef, Arches, Canyonlands, and on down to Monument Valley. And then we have an opportunity to share through this 3 parts of the state new marketing guide what's available in other parts of the state and what the ski product has to offer.
Well, and that's all part of that mix that we were talking about, that, you know, a person can only go spend so much time in any given location. They've seen it. They've done it. They've got to have something else to do to keep them entertained, and most folks don't go on vacation just to sit and watch TV in the hotel room.
Although, Fred, I'll say, you know, we find a lot of our visitors, they've come and they've bagged the 5 national parks. But boy, that's where our 43 state parks come in.
You bet.
We want them to come back for that 2nd or 3rd tier visit and spend more time with us.
How important is it to promote, from your perspectives at the county level, to promote a good experience so that you get that hook in to come out and explore something else in the region?
I think that's what it's all about. My family loves to go to Richfield because every time they go to ride the Paiute Trail, they have a great experience. We've never had a bad experience there, and it's all because of the work that the committee does under Kevin's direction. They know that when they go back, regardless of how hard we try and mess it up, we're not going to be able to.
Well, and it's as much about the community as it is about being out in the in the outdoors and enjoying those opportunities. It's the friendly face and the handshake at the gas station and the hotel and the restaurant, and it makes a huge difference.
And you know, we love to see folks from the Wasatch Front come down and visit us, and likewise, I enjoy coming up here and going to new City Creek Shopping Center, because those dollars that stay in Utah, mean that we're not bleeding them across the border into other states. I think there's great value there.
There is. What kind of, we're going to take a break here in a minute, but when we come back, what I want to talk about are some of the challenges that you face, or some of the problems that make this mix scenario not always come together smoothly, and so we can explore some of the issues that we have as far as being successful at capturing people and keeping them here and getting them to come back. We want to look at it at an international level and a national level and even on the in-state level, and we'll explore that. And we'll come back to the county seat in just a minute. We'll hope you stay with us as we continue our conversation about tourism.
Let's be honest, you don't know much about Beaver County. Well, let me tell you about it. It's the birthplace of outlaw Butch Cassidy and inventor Philo T. Farnsworth. Some of the best skiing in Utah is at Eagle Point. You've got camping, Canyon Breeze Golf Course, Crusher and the Tushers, Beaver Territorial Courthouse, snowmobiling, renewable energy, Pioneer Car Show, Squeaky Cheese, Ghost Towns to explore, best water in the country, Paiute ATV trails, Old Frisco Kilns, horse racing, hunting, fishing, and it's a good place to live. Beaver County, mountains of fun. I could tell you more, but why don't you come and see it for yourself?
Rediscover your sense of adventure. Welcome to San Juan County. Discover the past. A change of place. Utah's San Juan County, where life is elevated.
The best part about raising children here in Vernal and the Uinta Basin is just the smaller community that makes you feel like when you go somewhere you know everybody.
It's not too big, it's not too small. We're close to the Wasatch Front if there's anything we need out there.
So we packed up our 3 kids and here we came to Uinta County, and what a great place it was. What a great move.
My job has offered me the ability to college educate all 3 of my children.
My father, he was an engineer for Chevron, retired 39 some odd years. And Jeff, my husband, it's the same way. He's always worked in the oil and gas, always had a job here.
Uinta Basin's been fantastic in supporting what we've tried to do both as a business and also in the development of mountain bike trails and the sport of mountain biking.
One of the big reasons why I live where I live is I'm able to run up to a beautiful place like this and spend some good quality time.
There's always plenty to do in Uinta County.
Welcome back to the county seat. We've been talking about tourism and its importance to local communities and the counties within the state of Utah. We're going to continue that conversation. I understand how important tourism is to the areas, but as an outside observer, it would, and reading some of the headlines and some of the issues and discussions that we've had, it seems like there has been in the past a little bit of conflict, because we've identified, even some of the national or the federal agencies have identified that tourism is the best application for some of the public lands, and then they turn around with their next planning, resource management plan, and they close campgrounds and they close routes and they close destinations, and then all of a sudden you say, yeah, your best use of this forest is tourism, but now we're going to shut down a lot of the tourism that you're trying to promote. Is that situation improving at all across the state? I mean, we've talked about the liaison of the counties with each other. How is that relationship working with the federal agencies?
It's fair to say that those federal planning efforts are incredibly difficult. They've got a lot of issues to balance. From our perspective, from the state park perspective, some of our best partners are those federal agencies. As we struggle to market this whole big picture of outdoor recreation, with 70% of Utah land being under public administration, if you will, they're a big player. Now, it's hard to get a forest level or a regional level BLM office engaged in that tourism promotion, but at the ground level, those folks are usually fully engaged.
It's extremely important to have them engaged and to respect the fact that they've got a job to do, but at the same time, bring them in on the conversations about what's going on down at the Paiute Trail. We have a trail committee that's been in place for 20 years, and our land management agencies and the state, they're all at the table, and it gives us an opportunity every month to sit down and express concerns and talk about how to fix some of the issues that we've got.
We've seen that in San Juan County as well. Our county commissioners have been proactive, and we have, I think, a very healthy dialogue with the administering federal agencies, particularly Bureau of Land Management and Forest Service in the Manti La Salle. So I think there's the perception of, as you mentioned, maybe 5 years ago, but things are proved, and there is a dialogue with the agencies.
How important is that diversity? We mentioned it earlier in the show, but when you look at trying to plan to draw tourism in, I mean, from Sevier County, I mean, your big draw is ATV traffic with the Paiute Trail system, but I'm wondering if that single focus, you know, do you want to concentrate and get all the visitors on one topic, or is that diversity an important issue? And you guys might have different perspectives on that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, you know, you're going to have that core group of folks with an ATV or UTV that are going to want to come out and just ride the trail. But then there are folks beyond that want to do more than that. They're going to want to see the Fremont Indian State Park and Big Rock Candy Mountain Fish Lake. They're going to want to fish along the trail and camp along the trail. And so there's just that diversity of things that you can do and see along the way. And when you have that as the package, it makes a huge difference to folks who are coming out to visit.
You know, you mentioned the Fremont State Park and the cultural resources, certainly in San Juan County. That's the greatest archaeological site density in North America. Folks are coming to see the prehistoric rock art and the ancestral Puebloan ruins. They're also coming to enjoy Edge of the Cedar State Park and Museum and our contemporary Native American culture as well. And then we're not all red rock country. There's 2 miles of elevation change in San Juan County. So from red rock to alpine, lots of things to do.
Well, Charlie, and when those visitors come, they really don't care whether this is a BLM or a Forest Service campground or a state park or a county-run facility. They just want to enjoy it. And so that integration between those federal agencies in the county or the federal agencies in the state or even, you know, private nonprofit organizations becomes that much more important. Because to the visitor, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just want to go out and have a good time.
That's right, and that's why we work together, Sevier County, San Juan County, all the counties. Our visitors don't know what county they're in often, and that's why we have to work as a team.
Right.
You know, the Paiute Trail runs
through... those little lines aren't painted out on the sand?
Paiute Trail runs through 5 counties, and it makes absolutely no sense for us to try and battle over, you know, whose county we're in.
Well, and from mile to mile, it may cross a county road onto a forest road, onto a BLM road, across private property, and back onto the forest within a mile.
Exactly.
And the rider doesn't care.
Nope.
Well, these are all very interesting topics. We'll continue our conversation here on the county seat on tourism, and we're going to talk about residual effects when we come back. I think it's an interesting perspective that I've just become aware of, and we'll discuss that and how it will extend when we return. We'll be back in just a minute.
Kanab, base camp for your southern Utah adventures. You belong in Kanab.
It's your mother. I'm here to see my grandbaby.
Did you get your whooping cough booster shot?
Oh, well,
Mom, whooping cough can cause permanent disability in infants or even lead to death.
But...
Adults and even kids over 10 need a booster shot before they're around an infant. Your other option is there on the porch.
Help us stop whooping cough.
Visit us online to find out where you and your family can get vaccinated.
Carbon County is typically known for its industry and coal production. But did you know that Utah's Castle Country has something for everyone? The motocross track has been acclaimed as the most popular in Utah, with a variety of technical and natural terrain, and even includes a pee-wee track. Visit castlecountry.com for more information.
Welcome back to the county seat. We are talking about tourism in the state of Utah today, and we've been having a panel discussion. In between the segments, we got talking about different things. This is something I had never fully realized before, but it's not just the first round of tourism dollars or even that return visitor that has an impact on counties and their economies. Let's talk about some of the residuals that happen.
Well, I'll just mention down in the Monument Valley area, nearly 70% of our visitation is international visitation. From my perspective, that's an export product. It's the same thing as if we manufactured a circuit board here in Lehigh at the new Adobe plant and shipped it to Berlin. So we're actually, we have a trade surplus with our international visitation all across the country of over $50 billion. That's not a total amount of exchange, it's just the surplus that we have. We have $53 billion more coming into this country than we have bleeding out. So international visitors are important.
I was talking with Frank White of ATK Motorcycles earlier, and he mentioned that he can't go anywhere without somebody coming up and saying, "You're American, I love Moab." And that's what they know about America. They love it. They buy products that say Moab on them through internet or whatever. And so you're right, it's a big export.
Yeah, it's hard to hear English sometimes in our national parks.
It is, and at Dead Horse.
Yep.
What is the connection that happens between tourism and economic development?
Well, you know, obviously on its face, tourism is going to be economic development because it's bringing dollars into the community. But beyond that, you're going to have businesses that are going to pop up that need to support tourism, outdoor recreation type businesses specifically in rural counties. You're going to have folks that are going to want to move into the area because they've enjoyed that opportunity. You're going to have businesses that are going to come and spend some time, you know, maybe the head of a business comes and spends some time as a tourist and then decides, that's where I want to put my business.
Yeah, but
all
I've
of
heard
those
recently
things.
that over 60% of the decision makers that pull the trigger on a business startup or relocation had first visited that area as a tourist. Oh,
that's amazing.
That's fairly significant. So there really is a difference of opinion where Oregon says, you know, thanks for visiting. We're kind of just saying, you know, hey, by the way, you can stay.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have a governor that's very, very business friendly and has supported the hospitality industry, recognizing the fact that it is a gateway for economic development.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a very enlightening discussion. It makes me want to go out and visit all your counties, and
we'd love to have you.
I'm ready to do some more tourism. So thank you for joining us on the county seat. And if you want to get some good tourism ideas, I very seldom do this, but let me just remind you, if you're watching this program and you've not watched At Your Leisure, that's what that one's all about. So we'll look for you next week on the county seat, and you can always check us out online, thecountyseat.tv. We'll see you later.